see. Upcoming. What do you mean? What's the... Hold up. Why does that say loading Watopia? Wow! That's a huge delay. Alright. May have to tweak it again. But I ain't gonna go out now. So, welcome back. Tweaked settings quite a bit, so I adjusted the bit rate. See if that stops. I noticed in the last thing it's very rhythmical. I drop a frame about every second. And so, trying to see if that is reduced with... They had the default bitrate was set at like 5,000 or something like that. And as far as I could tell, based on this computer's or the network's upload speed, and then kind of the quality that I'm wanting to stream in, it seems like 15,000 is about the number. What I'm also going to do is let's get the setting or the thing down, because it's out in 4K right now. So let's reduce that to 1080p. See what happens here. 1080p. You guys don't need 4K. Okay. Ultra would have been nice too, but let's see if that makes a difference. CPU usage is... See if it adjusts to the new quality. Should have done that before, but hey. Looks like we're at 20% CPU usage, so she's chilling. She's chilling right now. Because we've been all day here. Get this a little bit bigger so I could see what the heck I'm doing. Sign in. I gotta sign in this. Yes. 1 second. Frank. Gamale.com. Next. What's my password? I'm not sure. No idea. Is it that? Let's see. 2-step verification. Open the YouTube app. Open. Are you trying to sign in? Guelph, Ontario. Yes. Yeah, it's all good. Cool. Okay. Streaming. Excellent. How do I get the live chat there? That's a good question. How do we get the live chat over there? Select stream. No, that's... I only got one stream running, guy. How do we put the live chat? Hey, there we go. Let's put that up there. Cool. Alright, that's nice. Looks nice. Reasonably nice. Not bad. Decent. Okay, can't see my power. It's gonna be a problem. Go right there. Alright. Let's get this show on the road. This is not a super exciting ride, that's for darn sure. It's a recovery ride. So, short, simple, and we're just more testing, seeing what the stream looks like, and if we're dropping as many frames as I did as the last time. One sec. Whoa, baby. Something doing this week is gonna get a new fan, a monstrous fan, because earlier in the week I was in London, or I guess, sorry, not earlier, but last week was in London, and let's go. Last week was in London, and even just having a little bit bigger of a space and not being next to the furnace, surprise, meant that it was not nearly as hot, and I would post a video showing how much sweat I lost the other day, and it wasn't even a hard ride. It was just like, I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was 3 times 15, 280 or something like that. And was like cruising throughout the whole thing. But I had like literally, like, my dad was disgusted. It had half an inch of, he said, like, are you like pouring water on yourself? It's like, no, guy, that's sweat. So it's like mind-boggling. So gonna get either like a blower fan, like one that they use for carpets. I'd like the Wahoo fan, but $400 is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Anyways, so I'll do this, and then probably after 10 minutes I'm gonna go into a pace partner thing, and we'll test, because that will like give me an idea of what it'll look like when racing or anything like that. It looks a lot better so far. Yeah, it looks good. Oh, it looks beautiful. I think we fixed this sucker. I'm not dropping any frames. Looks reasonable. Oh, this is smooth as silk. Excellent. And I'm not on a 25-minute delay. Awesome. This is good. So far it's not looking bad. I could see the chat. It's busy. See how many drop frames I'm getting? It's saying 0. CPU usage. Right now we're up at 33%. 60 frames a second. It's good. We'll see what happens when we go into the pace partner. We'll see. Let's go down. Alright, where are we going? Alright, here's the big test now. Let's see what it looks like. Because this is what it'll look like in racing. Well, sure, like, when I'm in the group that is, like, that's like at the beginning, and once we hit the climb, all these people will spread out, if you know what I'm saying. Good. Looks good. Still at 0. CPU usage staying steady. Good. Very good. Excellent. Looking good, buddy. Ooh, it's hot. Stupid hot. The heat's on. Whew. See, that's what I mean. Wahoo fan would be nice. It's nice being able to control it, so don't freeze to death. But at the same time, can turn it up. Probably stay at max all the time, really. But blower fan would be about third the price, though. So maybe I got a core sensor. That's a good idea. Because be interesting seeing actually difference between setups. Because here in Guelph, it's a very it's a small little cubby I'm in, which I like because I do like kind of having kind of walls around me, if you know what I mean, like instead of just being in the middle of a room. But what was I saying? It's hard hearing myself and talking at the same time. Yeah, so it'd be actually quite interesting because although I like this space because it's just like a nice, small little rectangle, so it kind of feels like, here's the bikes area instead of just being in the middle of the floor. Being next to the furnace and being a small space does mean it gets insanely hot and not really great airflow. Also because it's like, where's that fan drawing its air from? It's like where the fan's positioned, it's literally just drawing air from the furnace. So it's actually kind of blowing hot air. So it gets very hot. Which is great, because it's like, I'm used to it at this point. Not right now, because last week I've been in London. So today, right now, first right back here, it's like, damn, it's hot. Holy yeesh. Just not used to it. Like, 2 more days I'll be fine, but won't even notice it. And you do get stupid fit, because it's like, you're doing basically altitude training all the time and sweating like, oh my goodness, if you could have seen that other day, it was the had to be easy. Like after about 70 minutes, there was at least 3 liters of sweat on the floor. Like just, it was truly, I was shocked, absolutely shocked that what's it called? The thing didn't short circuit. Like the Ceres, I mean, because it was just like there was just stuff all over it. Here we go. We got a comment. Looking to approach. Michael, looking to approach the 30-kilometer. And I think it is a legitimate 30 kilometers this time, around the bay in a more serious way. Last year I ran for completion with my wife. Nothing wrong with that. It's nice. What are the staple workout sessions you'd recommend? I'm hoping to do 420 a kilometer. So I guess I would ask just one follow-up, which is, are you planning on peaking at around the bay, or are you using around the bay as kind of a springboard towards a spring full marathon? Because the sessions would be maybe slightly different, in that, in my opinion, a lot of people who are doing spring marathons and they use around the bay kind of as a final tune-up or training run, I think a lot of people leave their race basically in around the bay and are just exhausted by the time, well, what am I doing? By the time spring marathons come around. But it's a hilly course, like in Burlington there. Look, marathon, focus on around the bay. So it's obviously, around the bay is an interesting training cycle, or like it gives an interesting training because you're doing peak runs in, February. So in Canada it's a bit harder. I haven't done marathon before. Okay. So I think the back half is really important because it's quite hilly. It's a flat first 15K, and then once you get into Burlington, then it's just, everyone always talks about that, the big hill near the end. It's the ones before, in my opinion, that really kind of take the bite out. So hills for sure. Good thing with hills is that in the winter, if you have access to a treadmill, really easy to build hills into the workouts. Don't go crazy with them, obviously, because hills, as great as they are, they carry with it some risk, in terms of things like IT band problems or Achilles problems, etc. So you got to kind of use them smartly without kind of just being like, oh, I'm gonna just train hills like crazy, and then just hit the treadmill with 6% and smash every single run like that. Using them sparingly, but for sure getting strong with that is a good idea. So building some hills into the weekly schedule, and then also through the winter there, because maybe you can't get super long some of the runs, because in generally speaking, the pace in the winter is a little bit less than it would be, say, in the spring or fall. So if you were, say, doing a 2-hour long run in the winter, that may be 5-minute pace, whereas same effort in the spring, because of better footing, maybe that's 440s, for example. So you're able to cover more distance for sure, spring versus fall, than in the winter. But even with maybe less time or less distance, you can get around that by maybe including some nice tempo runs. Again, treadmill is a really good tool for that, just for some steady state treadmill runs. That's a good way of getting endurance without necessarily running incredibly far. Just like sweet spot training on the bike, you don't have to ride for 4 hours. You can get the same benefit maybe with half that, but then doing a bunch of intervals at 90% or like 92% FTP. So some good steady state runs is a good way of kind of cheating the endurance. Hills, and especially if you're thinking about maybe going after the full at some point later, I wouldn't go super aggressive in the winter just to get ready for around the bay. It's okay if you're 1 or 2 runs under-prepared, because then the around the bay is not going to absolutely destroy you. And so, like, a lot of times with a marathon, for example, people are like, oh, I got to get to, you know, X distance to feel good. With around the bay, similar. If you're saying something like, oh, I want to get to being able to do, you know, say 26K, I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out. If things, you know, say you get a setback, God forbid you get some little niggle or something like that, or, realistically speaking, you know, let's say the weather, you know, because we are in Canada, say one weekend, you know, one second, just getting dropped here. So, like one weekend, let's say Snowmageddon comes along, and, you know, it's like, you know, it doesn't look like you can get your long run in that week. Things happen. Don't press to get it in. You know, just because it's like, I gotta get it in. It's okay for around the bay if you're one or two under-prepared, especially if you got a full marathon coming in after it, so that you actually, because I've seen it time and time and time again where people train so hard for around the bay because they've heard about how hard X Hill is, you know, the ravine road there, and so they train so hard for it, and then, you know, they're gonna do Good Life Mississauga after, but they're just dead from around the bay, and or injured from, you know, pressing the training too hard, you know, doing one too many hill sessions, one too many long runs, whatever. So it's okay if you're one or two under, and just don't stress about it, because it's like, it's a winter race, so things will happen. Weather will definitely, in all likelihood, impact training in some way, shape, or form along the way. And so, in this case, though, because you have another thing potentially after it, it's okay. You know, whereas with a marathon, you might be panicking, being like, oh my god, I'm not going to get my, you know, 20-mile long run in. You know, end of the world. Here it's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So you kind of let the weather, it's not that you use it as an excuse to train less, but it's kind of a way of keeping you in check almost, and preventing showing up just completely overcooked and overtrained. But yeah, so some hills, some steady state tempos. Treadmill's a great tool to use, but I will say on the treadmill, it's different, right? So if you're not used to running on a treadmill, let's just say, for example, you know, one of your long runs comes along, let's say it's 24K long run or something like that. Snowmageddon hits, or it's minus 40, whatever. Say you haven't run on the treadmill to that point for longer than, let's say, an hour. Don't be like, well, I'm just gonna do, you know, my 2-hour long run on the treadmill. Because it's different, and different things can get stressed. Achilles, back, hip, etc., whatever. And so just like any piece of training, with the treadmill, I would build it in gradually. Take your time with it. Also, because you're going to be doing some long runs in the winter, I'd invest in some good either trail shoes are a great option for winter running, and or the yak tracks. Personally, I hate yak tracks. I think they're kind of useless. I think they only work well in packed snow. If it's fluffy snow, they're useless. If there's any stretches of pavement, they are completely useless. I much rather have a trail shoe with some good lugs on the bottom and just go about my merry way in those. But yeah, that's a good, both, depending on your preference, good things to have for winter running. Have fun with it. Build some trails in. I always actually find trails are a little bit better than the roads because it's just fluffy snow. Whereas the roads, you get ice. Trails, less so. So personally, I like trails in the winter a lot more than roads. I need to just stand up for a sec. Getting a little bit discomfort in the pelvis. How am I doing? Pretty good. I'm just testing out the live stream today, seeing how the I changed the settings a little bit to try to see if it stopped, because the last stream I noticed I was dropping a frame basically every single second. So so far it looks pretty good in a pace partner section, so that I can just test what it looks like with a lot of people on the screen. Oh, no worries. Thanks for tuning in. This is just a short ride. I'm done in 20 minutes. You're welcome. Good luck with all the training. 420 is a solid pace. And yeah, enjoy it. It looks like it's going to be an actual 30 this year, not 36 or whatever. Some nonsense. Looks like it's going to be coming back to its roots. You're welcome. So I don't know if I said that yet. But I guess another thing that got going on is I am considering doing, I might reach out on Instagram to folks to kind of poll people, see if they're interested. I'm thinking about doing like a live group workout on, say, Saturdays or something like that. You know, like 8 of them or 9 of them through the winter. So we do like a group ride on Zwift, but it's a workout with maybe like that elastic band feature, if we can get that. Figure out how that works. And then I would live stream from my end so that you can see what's going on my screen and maybe give some instructions as to why we're doing X, Y, or Z. And then maybe, you know, at the end we do some sort of a group test, see if we've improved. Something like that. But yeah, I'll poll people. If you're interested, let me know on Instagram. But I'll do more of an official thing on Instagram at some point, seeing if people are interested in something like that. Oh yeah, it's so hot. I'm dripping. Not used to it. And the heat's been on all morning, so that is blowing just like Miami air at me. Yeah, Spotify price is going up. That sucks. This phone is a beast again. Absolute beast. Went to the Apple store yesterday. Got them to replace the battery for me. Figured just let them do it. They know what they're doing. I could pay, you know, half the price and do it myself, but let them do it. They'll figure it out. don't mess up my phone. And now, yeah, the max capacity is at 100%. Back. It was draining so fast. I was going down a minute or a percentage every minute. Now the thing's just chilling. Saw the new 16 in there. It was crazy. I thought there was just like nothing new to it. It's the brightest screen I've ever seen on a phone. It was crazy. I don't know what the nits are on it, but like, it was so bright. Putting mine next to it at an 11. So bright. Beautiful looking. Big. It's thick. It's like a computer, but anyways. I don't know what else we got going on, but yeah, that's one. Buy some more lactate strips this week. Gonna do tests on maybe Saturday. See where we're actually at, because right now this is all made up numbers. I think threshold's probably, well, it depends. Seated or standing. Standing, I am not far off what I used to be. Seated, bit of another issue, but $277, maybe for you. I'll go off in about 13 minutes. I think a successful test of the stream. It looks pretty good. From my end, at least. Catch up, guy. Thank you. Good feedback. Thank you. Tweak things around quite a bit. Change the bitrate, change the B-frame thing, change the profile. What else did I change? One other thing, can't remember. Just worked out based on upload speed and resolution. What was the best? 15,000 seems to be the number for this upload speed. Thank you, Noah. Hope things are going well. Hold on. The music's too loud. For the long runs, if I'm aiming for 420, what pace should I be aiming for? On the long run, you mean? So on the long run, I think is what you're getting at, like what pace on the long runs. So I think you can go about it two different ways. One, around the base pace will be decently close to marathon pace, or not that far off. So, one sec. Your if we go like 6-second rule of things, 420. So your long run, if that's marathon pace, that is. Easy pace is like maybe 445 to 515, somewhere around there. And that would be just kind of a straight up long run. But say if every 3-4 weeks you're wanting to do pace on the long run, so marathon pace type long run, then obviously you go in 420s, but or maybe a touch slower than that, like 425, 430, 425, let's say, because like you're not tapered. 420 is assuming taper, basically, like what I'm saying on that 425 versus 420. You don't always have to train, or it's not always a great idea to train right at the goal level. You kind of want to exceed that training a little bit. So it's like if your marathon pace is 420 per kilometer, that's not the end of the day if in training you're doing 425s, because you're not tapered, so you're not rested, there's fatigue, you're maybe not in super shoes, you don't have the adrenaline of race day, etc., etc. And so also the other thing is if you train a little bit under that goal pace of 420 for your race pace sessions, and you go like 425, something like that, it also means you're at a lower risk for getting injured, because you're not under training, but you're just kind of leaving a little bit always in reserve, so you're a little bit lower of a risk of like pushing too hard. So for a normal long run, for a 420 goal, for just like a time on feet type long run, where it's just about callousing the body and the mind to kind of just the length, the distance, you're probably looking like 445 to 515 a K. And then on your race pace sessions, that could be included in a long run. So you could do something like, just throwing examples out, like, 5K, 4K, 3K, 2K, 1K at race pace or race effort within, say, a 24K long run. That's 15K of work. If you warm up for 3K, 1K in between each of those, you're looking at around 24K long run. If you're doing that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 within your long run on a K recovery, then those could be at like 425 a K, and the recoveries around that 5-minute pace, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 or something like that. It's always not a bad idea to build in the steady work into long runs and kind of get double. You're both getting some race pace work and some endurance. And so basically what that means is it'll free up a session during the week, so you're not having to do 2 quality sessions and then the long run, which is also a quality session, so it's 3 qualities. If you do steady within the long run, that kind of acts as both. And so on that particular week, you only maybe need, in quotations, to do 1 quality session, so something like a fartlek or something like that. So it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Doing steady within the long run, I mean. So yeah, those would be the paces. 445 to 515, somewhere around that, just off the top of my head. And then race pace sessions, you know, within a long run, 425. Okay, just as I said, underdoing it a little bit, so that you're leaving something for race day, and you can kind of exceed the training. Any thoughts on training sick? Noah says, general rule of thumb, above the neck, proceed with caution. Below the neck, take the day, for sure. It also really depends on the time of the year. So, like, you know, sometimes if it's like early season, you know, it's like there's no point really having to push through things. You know, if you're coming close to a race or something, maybe you have to be, you know, speed the timeline a little bit. You know, because it's like maybe you can't take a week completely off within what's supposed to be like peak training for, say, a marathon or something. So it depends a little bit on the time, but generally I'd say if it's just like, you know, you got a sniffly nose, then, as I said, I'd be like, maybe reduce it a little bit. So, you know, instead of doing 5 intervals, you know, 3 or 4, something like that. And again, just playing by ear. But if you're feeling like a real hacking cough, you know, deep in your chest, then I'd take the day, feet up, Netflix, hydrate, rest. Medication is needed, if that helps. You're welcome, very welcome. So I skip, sat, spike. Yeah, that's perfect. So it's like playing by ear there. Exactly. I also find too, like, usually biking, like, it depends on the intensity. It's like, if it's not that hard of a session, then you can probably get through it. But if you were doing, say, you know, which day was it this week? That one that you're doing the FTP type reps. Is it Tuesday? Did I put that in for Tuesday? If it's something like that, then it's like probably take it off, because it's just too high of an intensity, and that's when you're really gonna get kind of that hack going, that hack in your, like, your cough going. But if it's just like, if it was, say, like a zone 2 session or like a shakeout ride or something like that, probably okay. Just like, again, playing it by ear, not forcing it, but just, you know, start it out. I always give it like 10 minutes, something like that, even with running, like always give it like 7 to 10 minutes in that range, so at least you kind of warm up a bit, so you get a bit of an idea, somewhat of an idea of what you're looking at, and then, you know, make a decision. Like, you know, is this smart? Is this needed? That's the other, as I said, like from before, is it needed at this time in the year to be just hammering through it? Probably not. I think it's also no, because with biking, for now at least, you're more used to pushing super hard, right? So because of that, you know, you're gonna be like, how do I say it, like, you're gonna be very, like, well, you know, you got no problem pushing super hard on the bike because you've done it before. Whereas the swim or the run, you know, been a long time, so it's like, how accustomed are you at this point to, you know, pushing 7 or 8 or 9 out of 10, you know? So you're probably much better able to just smash yourself on a bike right now than you are in the pool or the run, if that makes sense. So I get what you're saying. It's like depending on everyone's background. Some people who come from like a run background and they jump into triathlon, you know, they struggle. Oh, what am I doing? I'm all done. I'll go for another minute. Just get 32K. Some people, if they come from like a run background and jump into triathlon, you know, they might struggle pushing themselves, even just mentally, to the same level in the water than they could normally do on the run. Because the run, they're just used to it. They're used to pushing that hard. Alright, finish this lap. Awesome. Yeah, you've come a far way already. And then once we start doing workouts on the run, game on. You're gonna see some big gains. Right now it's, you know, just base, but even then you're seeing big gains in it. Just as we up the mileage a little bit, soon we'll increase the frequency a bit, you know, and just getting that little bit extra mileage in the legs. And yeah, we'll really, but already it's been really great. And you know, if we can recover well here, I think that FTP test is going to be beautiful. All right. I got that 32, didn't I? A better of. Hey. Cool. One sec. Yeah, it should be fun. As I said in the last one, I don't know if I'm still on. Is this thing still going? Yeah. As I said in the last one, I won't do like a and the noise canceling on, no wonder. I'll do like a steady race instead of something like spiky, because like my zone 6 power sucks right now. Steady is no problem. Like the other week I did like a bit of a steady block where it was just like 3 days of just like 280, something like that, for like a decent amount of volume. And yeah, it was like, what's going on here? Is this on? What's up? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's like the steady powers, like, honestly, like, right now I feel like I can sit at 280, and that's what it felt like the other day too. Like, it's like aerobically, like, I could sit at 280 all day. Like, if the pelvis was good, like assuming that, like, I could stay there all day. And I know from many times testing and whatnot outside, 280 would get me pretty much 45k an hour. It'd be about that, based on previous. It's like 44 to 45 in that range. With the current setup, that is. And so, yeah, like, I honestly feel like it feels like low zone 3. But then it's like the threshold, or like the upper limit, doesn't feel that high. So like it's gonna be, right now it's like this level is really good, LT1 is really strong, super strong, but it's just like increasing the capacity at this point, like, is what the challenge is. And yeah, getting interesting. I can't seem to get heart rate up that much. The highest heart rate I have seen in, what would it be? I guess 12 months. The highest heart rate in 12 months is been 180. Is the highest that I've seen. And so, which was like, I used to be able to hold 182 for like an hour plus. And now that's the highest number I've seen. And yet I feel like I'm pushing, but it's not going up, really. And that could be also just from various things. I won't get into it now, but it could be some of the medications, basically. That's because, like, they were all respiratory and CNS depressants. Like, they're supposed to bring them down quite a bit. So, and they work in conjunction with one another to just, like, bring, as I said, bring both of those systems down. And so it could be that. That's limiting the heart rate from really getting up. But it could also just be that the strength in the legs isn't allowing me to get to such an intensity that can get it up. And so, yeah, it's right now, though, steady state, or not steady state, but like just steady riding, zone 3 riding feels like stupid strong. It's getting the upper limit up so that we can just start, like, or that. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, I need to get out of these shorts. Yeah, and I think that's also it too, that it's just like, it was a long time without, and so also mentally it's like not being used to like what I think right now, or I'm perceiving to be 9 or 10 out of 10 effort. Back in the day, that might have actually only been like 7 out of 10, right? And so it's like it's increasing also the mental capacity to be able to push into that zone 5 plus type effort, which is what I'm going to need to do if, speaking of Zwift racing, what I'll need to do if I'm doing like some of the other courses. But for now, we'll just keep it just like a steady, I don't know, just like a steady Alp to Zwift, something like that. Steady effort. And yeah, we'll go soon. I want to test lactate first, and then once that's done, then we'll jump into it. Alrighty. Again, I could stay and chat. I could chat quite a bit, but I will get going because I got to get out of these bike shorts. So thank you for tuning in, and we will do, now that I know this is working, now that I know everything's working and I think we got the settings down, We will have definitely more of these coming in the future. Thanks again, and I will catch you next time. As I said, I gotta run and get these shorts off because they're a little too tight for me at the moment, if you know what I'm saying. All right, catch you later.